Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So I just for some reason got the idea today, and obviously it was a download from the lead team or my spirit guides, to grab a message from the lead team using the pendulum today. So I actually did this pre-video, so you don't have to sit and watch it move. But what they told me is that this message is actually for people who are losing hope. So if you have felt like you're losing hope, whether it be for humanity, politically, for yourself, that this message is for you, okay? And there may be a message here for those who are not necessarily losing hope, but just want to hear what Spirit has said to those who are. All right. So I have 3 messages from the lead team. I did the law of challenge. I will say the prayer here for people who like it. I asked then to give us additional messages based on the pendulum messages using an oracle deck, and they chose the Akashic Tarot. And I have, just so you, in case somebody's new here, I do have about 75. I'm probably more like 80 now because I have a few more. Thank you to our fairy godmother. But I have a few more that I need to get into circulation soon. So we're going to use, like I said, the Akashic Tarot, and the lead team said specifically to do a pick one. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, because they feel, I guess they feel that each of us have a specific message with the oracle when it comes to losing hope. Okay? All right. So the messages. Well, actually, let me do the prayer real quick. Okay. I'm going to back you up. I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is only and all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team. I've already obviously chatted with them, so thank you so much for being here and partnering with us. And actually, thanks to Archangel Michael for all the spiritual protection and making sure that we all stay within the highest and purest light. And anything that's interacting with us also is from that highest and purest light. We really appreciate that. So every time you hear this prayer, obviously I ask for your protection as well. So you can probably best is my guess, because we all have free will, and probably to say I accept that protection, that might be a good thing to do. Just throwing that out there. I don't know. I don't know if it's totally necessary. I mean, I could ask now that I'm curious about it. So lead team, is it best for when people hear this prayer and ask for Archangel Michael's protection, is it best for people to say, I accept that protection? Is that helpful for Archangel Michael? Yes. Okay. So I accept that protection. I personally accept that protection. Okay. Message number 1, pendulum. Now, just a reminder, because a lot of people will ask, we have a small business directory that is made up of businesses from our community. So if you would like to support them, we would really appreciate it. Obviously, we're a small business too, and we have a directory for that. I will link it below. You would find she is a part, this personal Lee, L-E-E, yours, is a part of that small business directory. So, and she made this specifically for me, and she's got a whole bunch of other designs. This is metal. She's got a whole bunch of other designs, which is cool. Like metal things that you could, like decorative designs too. But so she made this for me, and in the middle it says, in the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? She sent this to me soon after we were reading The Golden Future, which is Diana Cooper. This actually comes from Diana Cooper's, that she downloaded 31 spiritual laws for the golden future. So, and that was one of them. This is actually the first one, I think. I think it was. I can't really remember. Anyways, please visit our small business directory if you're looking for a gift for somebody. It would be so, you know how we're looking for ways to not be only supporting the Amazons, even though that's where my shirt came from. Can't help it. Okay, nobody in our community is selling the shirt. Otherwise, I would have bought it from you. All right. First message from the Pendulum, from the lead team. Okay. Now remember, so I asked them why we needed this after I got this message. And that's when they spelled out losing hope for me. Okay. So keep love in your heart. Keep love in your heart. That was the first spelled out message. Then I said, well, actually, let me preface this real quick. Before I did my prayer, I did the law of challenge, and I said to the lead team, it's the middle of July 2026. What would be a helpful message for anyone who is going to listen to this today? Actually, it'll be this. So today is the 14th of July. I'm actually going to publish this on the 15th of July. Okay, so I'm recording a day early. So that's what I asked them. So if you're listening, this message is for you, basically, was the premise of what I went into. And I just said, what's in our highest and best? What message do we need to hear right now? Okay, mid-July. So keep love in your heart. Keep love in your heart. And then again, I asked why, and they spelled out losing hope. So then I said, well, I actually asked, what's a counter message to losing hope? How would you counter that? Like, what would you want to tell somebody who's losing hope? And they spelled out, have faith in the divine. So you're losing hope because we're losing our, having, it is tricky, isn't it? To continue having faith in the divine timing of things, the more conversations we have here, every day I learn something new, get a different perspective. And then you start to realize, you know what? I'll never have the full perspective. I got to trust source. However, whatever that source is for you. Okay. But I got to trust the divine. I just have to, like, because then our ego gets in the way. Like, if you think you know all, right? Like, who does? Nobody does. Nobody on earth knows all. Even channelers, nobody does. I mean, I'm sorry, but nobody does. Okay. They make sound like they do, which is why I'm always trying to preface, like, there's just nothing's black and white. There's gray. Don't follow anything that I say verbatim. No, this is all about you searching and listening to your own guides and your own intuition. This is just, all these conversations we have is just here to spark that. It's just to get you to be thinking in a different way. That's why I'm doing it. And every time I get a new idea, I'll use that as energy. Okay. So no losing hope. There's no hope to be lost. Even no matter what you're seeing, there is a reason for all of that stuff. And we don't always know what that is. Well, we never know what that is because we don't, unless you can see the Akashic records, which is interesting that they wanted me to use this deck, the Akashic Truth, isn't it? Unless you can see the Akashic records, but with my understanding of the Akashic records, it's fluid. It is not like permanent. It's not like a set in stone, nothing ever changes ever. So it is impossible for anybody, probably maybe even source, I don't know, to know exactly what's going to be happening. Okay. So no hope to be lost. No hope to be lost. Okay. So let me know if this resonates with anybody. But the real message was there's two messages, keep love in your heart. And which is really, in my opinion, and it's a message they have been giving us frequently over the last couple months, not like last 6-7 months, but like last 2 months, is on judgment. Our ego is very judgmental. That's just the way the ego, it's meant to survive that way. So I actually, with the Spirit Circle, we're about to get ready to pick our new book. And I'm going to be doing some polls with them to figure out which book we want to read. My first set of books that I'm having them vote on has to do with judgment, because that's the message we've been getting. But that's very like personal growth. But then we're also I'm going to have them vote on, if you're in the Spirit Circle, I'll be having you vote on for spiritual books as well. Probably one of the 4 that our fairy godmother has sent me, because she sent me so many books. So, yeah, so judgment. Keep love in your heart. It's very hard to love if you're judging. Very, very hard to love. So just keep that, think about that for a little bit. Think about that for a little bit. Judging yourself, judging others, having opinions about things that honestly, there's no way you could know the full story of anything, especially with so much manipulation and, whatever. So work on that part. If you are having a hard time keeping love in your heart, think about how judgmental you are. Think about that. Okay? And again, this isn't coming from Karen. We have been getting that message in the Spirit Circle and on the channel here over and over again about judging. Okay, so let's do a pick 1. If you have not done this before, what I'm going to do is, and the lead team's this is the deck they wanted to use. What I'm going to do is, let me ask them first real quick. So lead team, do you want us to pick the number before we deal the cards? Yes. Okay. So what you want to do is we're going to take 10 seconds in quiet, take a deep breath, close your eyes if you want to, whatever, and see if a number comes to you. Okay? Doesn't always come to me, to be honest. Another way you could do it, actually, I'm going to do it this way today. You could take a sticky note and you could write, I'm going to do this actually, write 1, 2, and 3 on a sticky note. This is literally how easy you could make this for yourself. I'm going to take them up and I'm going to crunch them up. Although now it's sticky on one side, I have to be able to see it still. I'm going to crunch them up and I'm going to throw them up in the air and I'm going to ask my guides to give me the number. So that's how I'm going to do it today. But I'm going to do that in 10 seconds of quiet. So for those who need quiet, if you need more time, just pause. Okay. So I'm going to throw them up in the air and see. So I'm going to ask my guides, give me the card message that you think is best for me today. And I'm just going to throw them up. Oh, how do I know which one to take? Okay, wait. Okay, I don't know about this. Okay. Oh, yeah. You just obviously pick one. Okay. Shh. 10 seconds. Okay, what's your number? That's how I threw them up and then it's like, oh, wait. Okay, so I have message 3. So you can do it like that. I have to say, if I close my eyes and I'll try to picture 1, 2, 3 and see if I kind of get stuck somewhere I don't always get it. So if anybody else has that, it's okay. Let's not take it too seriously, okay? Now, all 3 messages. You can also wait to hear the messages. Just wait to hear them and go, yep, that's the one for me. That's okay too. We're not going to be critical of ourselves. We're not going to judge ourselves if we can't get the right, number, intuitively, or when you're closing your eyes or whatever. That would completely defeat the purpose. Okay, so now the lead team's going to give me the cards in the order 1, 2, and 3. I'll deal 3 out and then they will tell me which order they want them in. I just have to shuffle these a little bit. All right. Okay, lead team. So everybody has picked their numbers. So those who picked 1, they know who it is. What card message do you feel that is important for those who picked number 1? And I'll double check too once we get them all, because sometimes they drop them in more than just one card. So yeah, this deck is relatively new, so it's a little sticky still. Okay, lead team. They're usually pretty fast, but okay, let's try that one. Is that card I just pulled for card number 1? Yes. Okay. So that's number 1. Let's do number 2. I just kind of feel like the one I was just looking at, but I could be wrong about that. Is that number 2, that one we just had face up? Yes. Okay. Or is that number 3? No. Okay. All right. And let's go with our 3s. What do those who picked 3, what message is helpful for us? Whoa. Okay, now I just had 2 fly out, so I'm just going to double check these. I'm not going to look at them. Okay, so the 3s, do you want to use both those cards? No, do you want to use either of those cards? Yes. The one on top? Yes. The one underneath it? No. Okay. All right, so the one on top. That's mine. All right, let's see what they've got for us. So our number 1s, here's your message. And I do encourage you to listen to all 3 of them because, again, you're going to get something probably out of all 3. Okay, so reflection. This is a 19, so you would take 1 plus 9 is 10, and then reduce it 1 plus 0. So you take the 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So it's a 1 card for those who enjoy numerology, or if you want to look up what that means. I'm not an expert in it, but if somebody can tell us what the 1s, and sometimes people will see patterns of the numbers too and give us some ideas in the comments. Okay, reflection. Okay, why do you need to hear that, number 1s? Let's see what it says. Now, the fun part about this deck, I do enjoy the decks that have an upright and a reversed message, but I do need to ask. I think this one came upright, but let me just ask. Maybe they want me to read it both ways. I'm not sure. Do you want me to read this both ways, upright and reversed? No. Upright? Yes. Reversed? No. Okay. It was upright, so let's see. 19. So reflection. Okay. So a full moon shines brightly over a quiet lake as a small ship glides gently through the water. The glow of the ship's lantern is reflected on the lake's surface, along with the moonlight from above. This card can sometimes show a trip, particularly a trip over or by water. More importantly, it can reveal that you now have a direct line to your psychic gifts. You are also more aware of your emotions and more reflective about them. You recognize the differences between your intuitive voice, which is calm and assured, and your lower emotional compulsions, which are urgent and sometimes fear-based. Let yourself gain even greater clarity and control over your emotions now, which is very, very connected to keep love in your heart, losing hope, okay? So let yourself gain even greater clarity and control over your emotions now. This also would be a great time for you to take classes in meditation, psychic development, counseling, healing, and other psychological and spiritual arts. If you have such an interest, Your yin side is wide open and your receptivity is high. Trust your inner voice and you will be guided to greatness. So you may be, I don't know if you're losing hope. The losing hope part could be like, I've been working on this part of me, but I don't feel like it's working. That could be for some of you too. That's another way to interpret this. The losing hope it could be a whole bunch of things. I automatically go to like what's going on in the world, but that doesn't mean that's the case for everybody, right? So keep loving your heart for you. But really good guidance, really good guidance. This is a good time to take classes in meditation. Psychic development doesn't have to be classes. You could read a book, maybe just begin a practice. Counseling, healing, and other psychological and spiritual arts. I've never really thought of anything as spiritual arts. I love that. I love that. If you're an artist, maybe you're going towards the spiritual end of things. Maybe you're going to start teaching, people in the spiritual arts. And then it says, if you have such an interest. But your yin side is wide open. So if you're losing hope for that, that's not the case. They're trying to tell you your yin side is wide open and your receptivity is high. Trust your inner voice and you will be guided to greatness. How cool is that? That's a nice message. Okay. All right. Number two. The Queen of Forces. Look at her. She's got it all, man. She is directing things. Look at her. That's how I feel. There is some reflection in this. She's got the light, and there is dark on the other side, but it's a beautiful dark. Very cool. The Queen of Forces. Okay, let's see. I might have to pause to find her. Oh, I found this Queen of Scrolls. Queen of Forces. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so she falls under, in this particular tarot deck, the Suit of Forces. I don't know anything about tarot, really. So the Suit of Forces. 184. So what other... there's the Akashic Field in here, the Willow, the Bird's Nest. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. Yeah, the Queen of Forces under the Suit of Forces. Okay. 184. All right, now I do need to ask whether they want me to read this upright or reversed. So for those who pick number 2, do you want them to get the upright message from this card? Yes. Do you want them to get the reversed message? No. All right. Upright. This card shows a woman balancing the energies of a sun in one hand and a moon in the other, with a river flowing beneath her feet. The Queen of Forces represents a woman who can help to bring greater balance to your life. She brings an unusual combination of power and peace, creativity and receptivity in both her energy and her support. Sometimes this card can represent a person in your life, either you or another, coming into a phase of great power and an ability to sustain it with wonderful results. There is a gift of grace and serene understanding when this card is upright. It also brings new roles and opportunities. Careers in many of the sciences, global communication, nature, and energy may now be available to you. The Queen of Forces could also indicate the appearance of a possible love interest. Are you losing hope? It's coming. Or an associate in business or in a creative project who has powerful influence and connections for you or for another. It may be someone you know or somebody new, but this card, when this card appears, there is a tender yet powerful support. During this time, choose to support yourself as well. You hold the forces of the sun, which is creativity, and the moon, which is receptivity. And only you yourself can direct the energy of your eternal life. Okay, I can see why they picked this deck for those who are losing hope for whatever reason. Anybody, how did this resonate with you, number twos? Have you been losing hope about a career, about your next move in a business, wanting to do something for yourself, a love interest? Because they're telling you this is coming. This is coming. That's awesome. The key, though, is you hold the forces of the sun, creativity, and moon, receptivity. And only you yourself can direct the energy of your eternal life. Keep love in your heart. And have faith in the divine. Trust in divine timing, right? We ask for what we want, and then we let it go. And let divine timing work it out, because they'll work, the universe will work it out in a way that's better than you could ever have planned it yourself. It just will. Just let it go. And it may take longer than you want. Just that's where you got to keep the not losing hope part, right? It can take longer than our ego wants it to, because, and especially depend on, I'm an Aries. So Aries are like, nope, now, right now. So we have to tame some of that stuff. But that's why we do this spiritual work, and that's another really great. So for those of you who are new, you haven't heard, I've been telling everybody, but starting August 1st, 2026, we are starting our next 30-day challenge where you're going to be encouraged to write to your spirit teams every day for 30 days. And see what happens, okay? It's just a fun thing, and it's amazing the kind of stuff that comes of it. So we've got journals if you want to grab them, but you don't need to have one of our journals to participate. If you want to get one of our journals, at least the bound ones, you'd want to get it sooner than later, just so you have time to receive it in the mail. Okay, part 3. Now, card number 3. Those were very cool messages. And this one's upright as well. Okay, it's a 2, the Akashic Library. Oh, this was message for me. The Akashic Library, a 2 card. So the Queen of Forces doesn't have a number on it. So anyone who's doing numerology, I don't know. It is on page 184, if that makes any difference, and 185. Okay, so let's see if I can find this quickly. Yeah, it'll just be under 2, I think. This deck is nice because it does have an index in the beginning. So when I couldn't find the Queen of Forces. Okay, let me just confirm. I have a feeling the message will be upright, because usually what I find is when the messages are upright, it's an encouraging message. When it's reversed, it's like trying to challenge you a little bit. So, we'll find out. Lead team, do you want me to read this one reversed for the number 3s? No. Do you want me to read it upright? Do you see how I switched how I was asking them? I like to do that every once in a while. All right, so upright. The Akashic Library. Inside a great library, candles cast a glow upon the books in the tall shelves. Oh yeah, okay. A sage sits thoughtfully with an open book on his table and a quill pen in his hand. Sometimes this card can indicate writing or publishing a book for you, but this card also symbolizes a new initiation. An ability to manifest a new life in every way. You have moved deeper into the Akashic records, into a higher self-awareness. Further investigation may be required, but you now have a better understanding of your old motives and new purposes. Again, for those of us losing hope for whatever reason, use this as some motivation. It is also a time of heightened intuition as well as greater self-creation. Self-creation. Notice they didn't say family creation, creation for your friends. Self-creation. During this phase, all you have to do is add a little conscious effort to write your new records in the Akasha. See, the Akasha records are not, it's not permanent. That's why nobody can really tell the future. To get started today, write one simple declaration about your future you wish to create and repeat it to yourself often. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Then decide one thing you can do to make it happen and do it. Anything can happen now. The breadth of the landscape before you rests solely on the scope of your imagination and your will to own it. So I disagree with this just a little bit. Remember, these are written by human beings for the most part. I'm sure people probably channel. For me personally, I'm going to repeat. This is actually very interesting because this is basically what I just said about the 30-day challenge. So this is exactly what we do during the 30-day challenge. You write one simple declaration that you wish to create, wish to create. So part of the 30-day challenge. And if you join our newsletter, you'll get directions on this if you don't have our journal, because the journal has directions in it. But what you're going to do is you're going to write a letter to your team about whatever's on your mind that day. And it could be a wish. It could be like, help me, give me guidance on this. But how they say repeat it often, I totally disagree with that. I think that's beyond, I don't think that's reasonable in our day and age and just living our lives, taking care of ourselves. I'm noticing to even take care of myself, it takes like a freaking whole day. You know, if you're going to get some gym time in, if you're going to eat healthy, you got to cook it. You know, I mean, it just freaking takes a whole day to take care of yourself. It really does. Cut, clear, cancel. It doesn't have to, but someday I am gonna have an AI robot that can cook for me and clean. Then I can just go to the gym and then have extra time. But so anyways, that's a whole nother topic, right? But to repeat it to yourself often, I just don't think it's necessary. I think we ask the request, and then, like I said before, let it go. Just let it go. But pay attention. Like if you get an inspiration, an idea, especially, you know, it said here, the breadth of the landscape before you rests solely on the scope of your imagination and your will to own it. Well, your imagination, if you're going to write a letter to your guides and say, hey, you know, help me with this or whatever, give me some guidance, then let them tell you the guidance when that guidance is, when you're ready for it, when they know you're ready for it. But you just have to, like, if I get like a creative thought or some inspiration, that's what I trust. It's not like I'm going to see this big, you know, light open up and, you know, my guides are going to be like, here it is. You know what I mean? You got to just trust that, like, if you feel excited about something all of a sudden, write it down. It may not be what you're actually going to do, but follow those. That's what I do. Just follow that inspiration. Follow, if you wake up one day and you're like, why do I feel like doing this today? You know, and you'll hear often people will say, like, sometimes you're supposed to take a left and you're like, well, I'm going to the right. But for some reason, your guidance is telling you go to the left, you know. It's that kind of thing. So I don't really agree with the whole, like, repeat it often. I think there's too much pressure with that, personally. So I don't do that. I'm just going to let divine timing work itself out, which is exactly what the last message was here. Have faith in the divine. Have faith in the divine. Okay, keep loving your heart. The really great messages for why you shouldn't lose hope. Hopefully that gave you some hope. And just having, you know, let's just use each other, encourage each other when we're feeling like things aren't moving as fast as we want them to in certain areas of our life. I mean, we know time is like, what's going on here? I've heard people talk about, since CERN, and we are going to be doing a part 2 with CERN, but with CERN having closed, that people feel like time has kind of slowed down a little bit. And I have to give that some thought. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but so really great messages. Thank you to the lead team. Thank you guys for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't. And if you could give this video a thumbs up and hype it. We would be so appreciative. We do have a goal of going to 100,000, and we're hoping you guys will help us get there. So, all right, take care, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.